proposed with appointing non-registered teachers.
Leavers sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is no objection. Question number 8, Julianne Genter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Transport and asks, will he reconsider the government's motorway projects in light of the impact that record high petrol prices may have on motorway usage? If not, why not?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr. Speaker, no. Petrol prices do fluctuate and they do spike, but that would be no basis to abandon an infrastructure program that will deliver intergenerational positives for the economy and the environment. Mr. Speaker, the inputs to pump price these days are somewhat different. It's noticeable that Z Energy is leading the way at the present time, but last weekend had a supermarket deal arrangement that saw discounts of 10 cents a litre for a $100 spend up to 50 cents a litre for a $400 spend. It's clearly evident then that the pump price is an extremely irrational input into the consideration of strategic transport policy.
Julianne Genter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given that high oil prices and low economic growth have resulted in stagnant traffic volumes for more than 5 years now in New Zealand, what evidence does he have that spending $12 billion on a few new motorways is the best way to move people and freight and get the economic outcomes that he wants?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr. Speaker, I think it's unfair to say that traffic volumes have been stagnant when there are so many places around New Zealand where there is very significant congestion. Our view would be that not only getting rid of that congestion by having better motorways, you would also save on the miles spent in journeys and the time that engines are running. Very good for the environment.
Julianne Genter.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order,
for the benefit of the House, I seek leave to table the State Highway Traffic Volume Index growth from the NZTA, which shows clearly that there's been no growth in traffic volumes on state highways since 2004.
Leavers sought to table that document from NZTA. Is there any objection? There's no objection. Julianne Genter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Doesn't the government's motorway building program amount to a $12 billion bet that petrol prices won't continue to rise at 8% a year as they have for the past decade?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
No, the build is about getting better infrastructure for roading. And further, I would say that there are a number of studies that the member, as a transport economist, would understand that suggest that the relative price of petrol to decisions people make about transport modes is inelastic.
No.
Julianne Genter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So what specific evidence does the minister have that shows that these motorways are the best value for money way to improve economic productivity?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Well, Mr. Speaker, we are a very long way from the original question, but what I would say is that where there is a reduction in congestion, there is an economic positive. No question about that. And if the member wants further proof that New Zealanders think these are good ideas, she needs only look at the electoral returns 2011.
Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Julianne Genter.
I don't believe the minister answered my question, which was about the specific evidence.
Order. I must hear the point of order in silence, please. Julianne Genter.
Mr. Speaker. I don't believe that the minister addressed the question, which was very specific, and it was about the specific evidence that shows that these projects are the best value for money way to improve economic performance and reduce congestion.
Well, I think the minister answered that he believed they were, and that was the evidence that he was basing the decision on. Now, if the minister, having heard the point of order, wishes to add anything further to it, he's welcome to. If the minister feels and I don't think I can require the minister to answer further. The member does have a further supplementary, though. Julianne Genter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the minister expect the economic impact of borrowing for these motorways to be similar to that of Greece, who also borrowed billions to build new motorways over the past decade? And if not, why not?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
No, and I think it's arguable as to whether the situation that arose in Greece was to do with their borrowing for roads so much as it was for their extraordinary borrowing for large monolithic rail networks.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Julianne Genter.
I seek leave to table this report from the European Commission on it's a strategic evaluation of transport investment priorities. It's the final country report for Greece, and it shows that they spent the vast majority of their money on motorways, not on rail projects.
Leave is sought to table that EU document. Is there any objection? There is objection. Question number 9, Dr. Cam Calder.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister of Health.
Order. I apologise. Was a supplementary.
Supplementary. On
question number 8. Order. 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 I didn't hear the member call. I'll take the blame for that.
My supplementary is for the Minister of Transport. Does he think that the $8 billion spent on public relations, sorry, that should be $8 million, spent...
Order. Now, order. Order. I apologise to the member. Those of us who've not had a slip of the tongue should be the only ones able to cast the first stone. You know, we all do that. The member.
It's very easy, Mr. Speaker, to make that kind of mistake with the roads of national significance.
Order. Let's just have the question.
Does he think that the $8 million spent on public relations for the roads of national significance is enough to placate the millions of New Zealanders who are concerned about the cuts to public transport projects, the flatlining of maintenance of local roads, state highways, the underfunding of Kiwi Rail, and the sheer waste of billions of dollars on the roads of national significance?
The Honourable Jerry Brown.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I completely reject the supposition that the member is basing his question upon. But what I would say is that over the last 24 months, I've heard nothing from Labor members other than spend more on communications in a range of portfolio interests I currently have. And what's more, if that money hadn't been spent, that member would have been talking about a secret roading plan.
Question number 9 now, Dr. Cam Calder.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister of Health.